How's it going today? It's Frankie and her Funny Fridays. This movie is called The Haunted House. And this movie is basically a skit on paranormal activity. However, this ain't the first movie to do something like that. I've seen a paranormal movie. That's what it's called, paranormal movie or whatever it was, right? And I've seen Abnormal Activity, which was horrendous. So I thought this movie could be funny. I was having like high expectations for it. I saw it up in TikTok and heard it's a funny movie. Cedric the Entertainer, isn't it? So I thought, you know what? I got to watch it. I think he played, that was it, Calvin from The Neighborhood. It's a funny show, so I would recommend watching that as well. But yeah, and it was funny in some moments. I kind of like some bits and pieces of the movie. So it's basically about, Malcolm and Keisha, that, his girlfriend Keisha that moves in. And obviously paranormal stuff stops happening, and it feels a bit slapstick and daft, a little bit of that movie. I don't know how to feel of it. I mean, there were some funny scenes, they witness hauntings in the house, and they do what the paranormal movies do, paranormal activity movies, where they have like a camera. This is only the first 4 paranormal activities that do this, where they have a camera in front of them whilst they're sleeping, and sort of strange occurrences happen. This is obviously more of a comedic sort of stance on it, and it's like a mockery of paranormal activity. And I like this scene. This scene made me laugh where where Keisha kept farting loudly, and Marlon Wayne's character Malcolm sort of like can't handle it in his air freshener. And then you see like Keisha just in another scene where she's just like standing up and she's doing like a silly little dance, and Malcolm just sort of puts a compilation in. And another scene where she's sort of like, where the demon sort of like, basically just F's her like in bed, and she doesn't know because she's sleeping, right? And Malcolm isn't happy with it, and he's sort of saying, you enjoyed getting banged by the demon. You enjoyed, you getting banged, whatever, ghost or demon, you enjoyed getting banged by it. But he also gets banged by the ghost as well. And they have to invite I think they invite like somebody, like a security guy called Dan, and this guy called Bob that works with him. And they sort of like a ghost hunting show that you'll see them towards the end of the movie anyway. They come into it, and then they have to hide someone called Chip the psychic, who I think for me is possibly the funniest character in the show in terms of him being so obsessed with his sexuality. He makes it sound that Malcolm is like down low, and he thinks, you're harboring a secret. Now, how do you be together? He kept asking, have you been with a man? Would you do something? And he kept saying, he kept asking that to Malcolm, and he said, oh, the ghost. No, he kind of says that Keisha accused her of having herpes, which later in the movie she does say, oh, about the herpes thing. And Malcolm goes, oh, you're disgusting, and he just washes himself in a bathtub. He's like naked, just washing himself. I knew I was burnt. Oh God! And then you sort of see like Keisha get dragged downstairs in another scene as well. And then the psychic dude comes back into it later on in the movie, which I'll mention soon. Then they have to come in there, then some thugs come in, and Ray Ray so goes, has to be Ray Ray. And Ray Ray so goes, what, you haven't let us bang Keisha, you go? You let a ghost it before us? What's going on, man? And then they sort of run off, and sort of furniture just falls down, whatever. He said was, I don't know how the furniture got there, just went back down. It's crazy. And yeah, you also see another scene where Keisha sort of goes, what happened to my dad's ashes? What's going on with my dad's ashes? We've put it over the floor. And I'm like, what is that thing on the floor? And I didn't know there was like a brown stain on the floor. So I was like, what the hell was that myself? And then later they find the cameras that Malcolm came back because he's had a few drinks, and he sort of took a bit of a dump on the floor and wiped it with the curtain. I don't know what was going on there. There was other characters. There was someone called Jenny, I think, comes into it, and Steve, but they're not really that significant. I'm going to skip them. And then Malcolm and Keisha have a cleaner called Rosa, who in one scene, she's basically a person that pretends that she doesn't speak English, but in one scene you sort of figure out she can actually speak fluent English. And Malcolm and Keisha sort of leave the house for a while. The camera just pans back and forth, and Keisha's just doing some sort of polka with these women that look like strippers, and she's sort of doing something with like a Hoover. The guy's doing something with a leaf blower or something to her, and I don't know what she's doing. Something else too. I don't know what else she was doing. That's sort of weird. Then Malcolm and Keisha came back. She attacked innocent. And deeper into the movie, Keisha sort of gets possessed by this whole like demon. I was like, is this demon or ghost sort of what is it? Is this ghost by? Because he sort of did both of them at different times. I don't know what was going on. And and this is where Cedric the Entertainer's character comes in. He's a priest and all. And he calls him father. Matt calls him father. He's like, don't call me that. I think he's called like, I've forgotten. There's a shed or something. A shed. What's his name? Oh my God, I've forgotten his name that he said. He was like, don't do that. I mean, he started talking about his life story about like kids and child support and him being in prison, incarcerated or something like that. And then Malcolm showed it to a room where Keisha's possessed. He was like, oh, that's not good. Well, why's she looking at that for? She's looking all ashy. That shit ain't alright. That's not. Nah, that she. Yeah, no, I can show you loads of women you can go to, like in the consent. Oh my God, I forgot the name. I can't say the name properly now. Consummate or something like that. And he shows a picture of this woman, and Malcolm said, "But I love her, but I'm staying with her. What's going on?" And he was like, "You're staying with her, okay?" And he sort of talks to her, and she was like, "You want me to show you something?" And he's like, "Okay." And then she says, "Connect the cuts." And there's like a connect. I bet just apologies for that. Yeah, and it was sort of like a noughts and crosses thing on their arm that the ghost made a cut into or something. I don't know. And he's okay, that's good. And then she did. She showed him the lip or something. I don't know what was on it. It said "suck me" or something. I don't know if that's actually what it said. That's what Malcolm and the priest said anyway. And yeah, and then the priest sort of shows like the tattoo got his back and it's like a butterfly or something. I don't know, so the time in prison or wherever it was. And she sort of does the screaming bit, you know, when you see those like horror movies and the person sort of possessed, like mostly women in this sort of case where they're possessed and they go do like the scream to your face. She screamed to the priest's face and he just put like some sort of fresh up her breath because her breath was like stinking away. And they go off, and this is where Dan, Bob and the psychic come back into it. And yeah, surprisingly, they didn't use a Ouija board for this one, surprisingly. We did see okay, Jenny and Steve did, like, there was a scene with them when they used the Ouija board and the ghost is kind of like dyslexic, because the ghost spoke, it spoke ghost wrong basically, and they saw Malcolm and Keith sort of laughed at it and yeah, the Ouija board flew out. I'm glad I remembered to add that one in the video because that's a big significance. Whereas those two characters in general, Jenny and Steve, they're not that significant within the movie, so that's why I'm not going to mention it much. But yeah, and then this is where it starts to get a bit crazy. Then Keith starts acting a bit crazy. Chip did suggest something, right? And he said to Malcolm, "There's only one way to get the demon out of her. Would you do anything to get the demon out?" And Malcolm goes, "Yes, I'll do anything." And then it cuts to Malcolm wearing some weird sexual kinky outfit, and then Dan, Bob and the priest was going, "Well, what's that going to do? How's that going to get rid of the demon?" And Chip was like, "Well, he did say anything. He's trying his best to get Malcolm. I don't know." He's trying his best to get Malcolm to admit that he's something that he's not. And then Keisha has a crazy moment. You see him at the basement, and then that was towards the end. To be fair, I think that was towards the end of the movie, but way towards the end. But then they see her possessed like in the living room as well, and she's sort of acting crazy. She's bending down, and yeah, and what was it? Dan goes, "Oh damn, this these demons are freaks. What is happening?" She was like, and yeah, the priest was just like all like crazy as well, just saying some mad stuff. They also tried to help get rid of the demon in the bedroom. They played with Shazam in the bed, and then it's like, we got to get rid of the demon somehow. And he had a Bible and had some sort of like weird, not drawing, but something shade that like, yeah, I'm not going to mention it, but like. And then Marcus, you think I should probably do a Bible? Like, reading on her, whatever it was, whatever he said, and he's like, no. But then the priest got some sort of like drug, and then him and Dan just snored up, and he quoted something from a movie, and that's when it starts to get crazy, and yeah, that she just run off, and I think this is the where she got the living room bit, which I just mentioned, and then she also stormed out as well of the place because everything went dark, and it's like, oh my god, what's happening? And then runs out, and then this is where Michael tries to find her, and he goes through the store. He thinks that she's in there, and there's like a group of like there's like some sort of naughty party going on, some dingo party. What they call it? It's so don't really give a decent word for it anyway. And then the priest went to take her back and said no. And this is the basement part where they look for her, and there was like, I don't know which scene it was because Dan was saying, "Where's Bob? Where's Bob gone?" They looked at the basement, and said, "Oh my god, Bob!" And then Dan was just saying, "Don't worry, that's just Bob peeing." And then the part is when they sort of see Keisha running by, and this is where it turned to night vision. Didn't make much sense. I had to cut to night vision straight away. And Malcolm was going, "Keisha, you there? Oh, you Keisha?" And then you see like Chip. It's just naked for some reason because apparently he was hot. He said, "Malcolm, where are you?" And then Bob sort of gives him a scare as well. I don't know why. And this is when you see like Keisha crying, and Malcolm sort of like try to comfort her, and she goes rah, and they just start beating her up, trying to beat the demon up. They tried to beat the demon. I have no idea what I was going this movie. This movie, it's not that bonkers, but it's a bit mad in this sort of scene. They start beating her up, attacking her, and the priest goes, "You saw nothing. Remember that. You saw nothing." Earlier on, he did shoot like their maid Rosa, and because he thought that it was Keisha. Malcolm thought it was too, but he said, "You shot a housemaid." Or he's like, "No, don't worry, it's fine, she's fine. She startled me. Just don't tell anybody." And he said, "Don't tell me." They just say, "Don't remember, it's in case when you asked, we went here." But Chip said, "Just say I was here." Does he want to go to prison? What is going? I know it's happening. And then the end part is where they do that ending of Paranormal Activity, where a woman like Keisha leaves the room and she sort of screams, and Malcolm goes, "I'm coming, God," and he gets thrown. And that's where she sort of does the typical part ending. But then after that, Malcolm sort of wakes up and says, "I'm not dead, I'm not dead. Take that, demon, take that." And she sort of comes and just drags him. I never known the freaky ghost like that. I never known and I mean that's like a better version of Paranormal Activity. They should include something like that in. I thought it was going to be that paranormal movie, right, where there's like a demon pops up, like a silly little demon dude, or whether it was somebody in the covers. I thought it was going to be a lot like that. But instead, it was just, you could say, a demon that was quite, in that sort of mood. Basically, the demon felt a bit randy. Not to mention, the demon was smoking with them. I don't know, I think they were smoking weed or whatever it was. And then, because Malcolm and Keisha are so high, the demon just thought, "You know what? I'm going to smoke with them." And you see that the demon or ghost lungs just like puffing up. And the demon, I don't know what's going on in this movie, right? But I didn't expect that bit to come into it. That's quite interesting. But I mentioned the important bits as I can. If I miss anything out, you can take a look and watch the movie for yourself. But I mentioned all I can in this movie. And now, I'm not sure what else to say. It disappointed me. I thought it was going to be a lot more funnier. I should have expected Marlon Wayne's character to be a bit silly and stupid. I should have expected something like that. I mean, the movie Naked I think he was in that, yeah. It wasn't bad. I gave that an average score, but it could have been better in a lot of parts. So his movies have potential to be better than they are. It's just that I don't know if it's on my level of comedy that I'm looking for. Maybe it's a humour type, I don't know. And I'm pretty sure people find this funny, but I'm not sure I would recommend this. I think this is half off. This is mixed. Most people like it, most people won't. So it's a bit like split in half on this movie. So I don't know if it's decent. I know I loved some parts, right? There were some parts that came across as funny, but then they were very stupid at the same time. I have no idea what to think of this. It's between, I don't have, I mean, I do have two numbers in my head, 6 or 7. I'm going to go stick with what I think, and I think it's got a 6 out of 10. At first, at the start of the movie, it looked like more like a 3 or 4. But as the movie went on, I was like, this is a bit funny. Again, the characters I'm not sure of. The characters were probably right for the movie, but I do think it could have done a lot more work being less stupid, I guess, and more funnier. Yeah, I think it could have had moments like that, to be honest. I don't think this is a perfect movie. I think parts of it I didn't really enjoy that much. I did laugh. Wish I'd laughed harder in this movie like this. But yeah, listen, I'm not sure I'd recommend this. Yeah, improvements, make it more funnier, have a little less stupidity and slapstick involved in it. It's better than Abnormal Activity. Abnormal Activity was just dull throughout. There was nothing really humorous about the movie. I don't remember it being a full-on skit like Paranormal Activity was. This one is slightly better. They had moments in this where it could have been more funnier. Like, yeah, I'm not sure what to think, but I can't remember what I rated the Paranormal movie at. I know I rated Abnormal Activity a 1 or 2. That's what I remember. A movie as bad as that, yeah, I'm bound to give it a low score. So yeah, I'm sticking with 6 out of 10. The acting wasn't bad for a movie like this. Actors in general wasn't that bad, like the cast and stuff. Dialogue wasn't bad. Storyline, I don't know if storyline's not much included in comedy like this. It sort of gives it away what it's about, this movie. Like, it's kind of obvious. Yeah, but other than that, there's not really much of a positives to talk about. I know there's a second one, I'm pretty sure. I might watch something and see if it's any funny. If I could find it, I hope I don't have to pay for it, that is, because I've watched this movie on Prime. So yeah, some movies you do have to rent on there, which is a shame, but at least I get to watch a comedy for Funny Fridays for today, so I'm happy with that one. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. 6 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification below. So see you in the next video.